you, thank you, no, thank you. Hey, what gives? I just bought this set of dice from Luskin. But all the 2s, the 4s and the 6s have been blanked out. They are very odd. Hi there, fellow game masters and role players. My name is Mr. Tarask, and this is still your go-to YouTube channel for everything third-party Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition related previews, reviews, flip-throughs, whatever. And today I'm talking about the Glitter Grimoire. Yes, I've been talking about the big guys in the third-party scene a lot, like Nord Games, Chatback 7, Kobold Press, and other people, but I still want to support the smaller people on the Dungeon Masters Guild, on Drive2RPG, and wherever as much as I can, especially when I get something in my hands that I really dig, and I really dig the Glitter Grimoire. Now, if you want to see me continue doing this and shedding light on great third-party material, make sure to hit that subscribe button, really helps me out. Hit the thumbs up, helps me out a lot, and put in the comments what you want to see me review next. If you have any questions about the books that I reviewed, I will look through them and I try to answer your questions. But anyway, let's get to it. The Glitter Grimoire. Now, I know, this cover looks ridiculous. And yes, it does look ridiculous, but that's kind of the point of it. Now, when I saw this cover at first, I thought like, nah, it's not really my thing. It's too much going on there, and it's just not my style. I mean, these are the covers that I like, and that I showcase on my shelf, and that's the covers that I like, and this is the kind of different cover. But I look at everything that I get for free. Like from the Dungeon Masters Guild, from Drive2RPG, from anybody who sends anything to my address, physically, digitally, I look at the contents. And when I opened this thing, I immediately got it, and I immediately absolutely fell in love with it. I don't know if you've ever been young in the 90s or the early 20s, maybe even. And for me, in my class, were these bunch of girls who had like this book, this magazine type book, and they passed it from one girl to the other, and everybody who got it in their hands wrote some random stuff in there about teachers, about other girls, about boys, about like friends, and about family stuff, and it's just a bunch of random stuff. There were stickers in there. Sometimes they put a drawing in there for somebody else, and it was, if you would find it on your attic right now, you will probably have a very good laugh. But that's basically what people did back then, because we didn't have Facebook and the internet and whatever, so we had like a literal Facebook. Okay, anyway, the Glitter Grimoire is that, exactly that. It is 5 wizards, scholars at that point, who had a book that they passed from one wizard to another wizard, putting all kinds of weird magical finds in there to share with each other. That's the setup of this, and that's why this looks like a cover with a bunch of random stickers on it. And that's why it looks the way it does, and I absolutely love it. It reminds me of when I was young, and it just reminds me of the silliness of Dungeons & Dragons, because after all, we're playing a silly game, and I absolutely love the fact that it's a silly game. So I'm gonna just flip through the contents of this thing real quick and tell you why I love it and why it's just absolutely super cool. Now, first of all, the Glitter Grimoire is on the Dungeon Masters Guild, and the physical edition, you can get it as a PDF, and the physical edition is now, there's a discount on it. So if there's ever a time to pick it up, it's right now. There's a discount on it. You can get it as this flippity-flappity kind of booklet thing. The quality is there. I mean, it's the quality you expect from the Dungeon Masters Guild. And what you get is a bunch of spells ranging from level 1 all the way up to level 9. And even, sorry, bumped my microphone, even cantrips. And there are magic items in here. Now, the setup is that somebody found this thing and it was too dangerous, so they hid it away somewhere very deep in the library. And there's all these, like, warnings that if you get your hands on it, please return it because it's super dangerous. Don't read the content. And some of the wizards that actually got their hands on This book, the most famous being Tasha. There are some wizards that come from the lore of D&D and Forgotten Realms, and Tasha herself got her hands on this book, so she added some spells in here and everything. But it's now a forbidden book because it's just a ridiculous thing, and it's just very, 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 very funny. There's a pull my finger cantrip, a snake bite cantrip, conjure musical instrument, catnip cantrip, all that kind of stuff. So I will just talk about a few that I really, really, really like. So one first level spell is Bad Berry. Now, most of these spells are based on content that is already available on in Dungeons and Dragons. They are kind of like a nod to those things and kind of a parody to some spells and some magic items, and that's why I love it. One of these is Bad Berry, and Bad Berry is a first level transmutation, and it's basically the same as a Good Berry, but you roll a d4 for its taste and you roll a d4 for its texture. It can get extremely sour, salty, bitter, or overripe and pungent. Don't know that word, but anyway, the texture could be soft and mushy, hard but melts into slime, tough as leather, or dry and powdery. Now, these berries, it says right here, you have eaten for a day if you take one of these berries, just like a good berry, but they do not heal you for 1 hit point. I would change that up. Personally, as a dungeon master, I would say, like, this is your, if you want to cast this as a good berry, cast this as a good berry. I like it enough for it to just take over good berry if it fits your character description. Now, for me, this kind of silliness is not for every wizard. Not every wizard, like the big scholar type wizard, is not going to have like these spells. But you could play a character. I'm seeing like maybe the Riddler from Batman, or even the Joker from Batman, combined with some kind of like Arsène Lupin or Sherlock Holmes kind of type, like the gentleman thief kind of vibe. If you have that kind of vibe going on, maybe a hustler kind of mage, a trickster mage, then these things are absolutely amazing. I'm looking right there every now and then. That's because I am right there. My screen is right there. I can see myself right there. It's really distracting, but still. Anyway, another funny one. Pocket Pudding. It's actually a buff support spell that also messes with other players. Up to 10 creatures of your choice. It is a first level conjuration. Up to 10 creatures of your choice within range suddenly have their pockets filled with 1.5 pints of chocolate pudding or some other semi-solid food stuff. So, overcooked rice or whatever, I don't know. Such as cottage cheese, coleslaw, or plain oatmeal. Eating a pocketful of this foodstuff restores 1 hit point and provides enough nourishment to sustain a creature for 1 day at the cost of that creature's self-respect. So, imagine yourself that somebody puts like pudding right here, and I'm like, and I've got this chocolate pudding, and I'd eat it like that. It would be really crazy, but could be really, really funny in the correct D&D game. Now, it's only usable in some games. Some games are more serious and they're more like D&D kind of medieval kind of setting, but some games are just more silly and you're just sitting around the table for a good laugh, and those games are perfect to have some of these spells on your spell list. Now I'm just gonna quickly flip through this until I bump into something that I know I really like. And for example, there's Conjure Obedient Goose. So you actually conjure a goose that follows your every command, and you use the giant rat stats for that. There's Conjure Pie. I really love the Conjure Pie one. You summon a warm, fresh baked pie with your choice of flavor. Make a spell attack roll against a creature of your choice within range. On a hit, the target takes 3d8 damage of the type determined by the flavor of the pie. That's some really cool stuff. Apple pie does acid damage. Blackberry is necrotic damage. Blueberry is cold damage. Cherry is fire damage. Custard is force damage. The flavors and the damage type do not make any sense, but it's just funny stuff. Odorous Retreats. Instead of Expeditious Retreats, there's Odorous Retreats. You touch up to 3 creatures, and basically, whenever they walk, they leave behind them a smelly gas, and everybody who's trying to chase those people, those characters, are they're poisoned by that gas. That's basically what it does. There's a lot more to it, and there's like at higher levels, and there's a lot more to it, but it's basically a concentration thing to, if you want to retreat, you don't cast Expeditious Retreat, but you cast Odorous Retreat. Absolutely freaking love it. There's all spells all the way going from level 1 all the way up to level 9, and I absolutely love it. There's plot armor. Just funny. There is a spell called Tasha's Tantalizing Tea Room. I'm not gonna talk about all of these spells because I don't want to spoil it, but reading through this thing, I had like a really good laugh, and I read like 90% of this book. Front to back, like almost all spell descriptions I read. I absolutely really love it. A last example for the spell section is Conjure Good as the Boy. This is a level 8 spell and I really love it. You create the illusion of a very good and friendly dog at a point you choose. Everybody has to make a wisdom saving throw, and people who have a soul have disadvantage on this save. And Wild Charm, people are indifferent. There's an entire text here, but basically there's a friendly dog there. At least people believe there's a friendly dog there. And everybody's like, oh, you sweet little dog. Oh, you're so nice. And people love that dog, and they are just indifferent towards other creatures. I really like that kind of stuff, and this just needs to be in my game at some point. If level 0, so cantrips, to level 9 spells are not enough for you, there are also magic items. A lot of new magic items you can toss in your game. As a dungeon master, you can make people find them, and these are like the magic items that the 5 wizards found and put in here in the Glitter Grimoire. There is a double jump boots, so just like in a video game, you can doop joop, double jump, just like in Celeste or whatever video game you can double jump in. There is a dice of the Contrarian, which are a bunch of dice that always return, like there's a 1d20, a d12, a d10, whatever, and they always return a losing number to whatever game you're playing, a losing number. So they're weighted dice, but not weighted in a good way, they're weighted in a bad way, so you have to slip them to somebody else. There's a Journal of Mockery, there's a bag of rubber chickens, a deck of many silly things. So if you don't want to add deck of many things to your game, because that kind of destroys your entire game, happened to me, happened to a lot of people, the deck of many silly things there are a bunch of other stuff that can happen, which is less dangerous, but still can break your game, believe me. There's the Cloak of Rainbows, Squeaky Warhammer. Yes, that is a Warhammer that dishes out a lot of damage, but it's one of those Squeaky Warhammer toys. Like one of those doink, 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 doink stuff. So yeah, you really need to be playing a ridiculous clown in order to use one of those things, but I absolutely love it. Maybe there's a player at your table that is like, who can really play a very good evil clown type of thing, like It's or whatever, or the Joker again. Then this book is really, really, really cool. I absolutely love it, and it's going to sit on my shelf, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to throw it at my table. No, I'm going to throw it at my players at my table. And tell them, like, if you want to have some ridiculous options, use it, but please, you only use it if you have like a character that does that kind of weird trickery, illusionary kind of stuff. I give this book a, no, I don't give points. We all know I don't give points. If you've watched my video until the very end, I thank you very much, and please comment below with what is your favorite movie. And if it's not Back to the Future, don't bother commenting.